Hi guys, welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to explain to you snaps or snapping in AutoCAD. So where you can find it is on your status bar here. You can just see this icon here, which is like a square, and in one of its corner it has a smaller square. So you can click it on and off to toggle it, and next to it there is kind of like a drop down list that you can enable, and you can get a lot of options for subgeometries that you can enable. So what we're going to do is I'll explain why it is so important first. Is I have disabled all of the options, and I'm going to come to the model space and I'm going to draw a line. So I'm going to do that by pressing L and enter, and pick any point, and again there, and press enter. Now I want to draw another line, so L, enter again, and now if you notice I cannot actually pick the two ends of this line, so I cannot use them as reference. My mouse is just hovering in empty space and it cannot be allowed to be precise by picking this point. So if you notice here, if I go as close to it as possible and I click on it and I draw another line, if I zoom in, I'll notice it's not actually picked that point no matter what I do. So object snaps helps you to pick definitive points on a geometry already defined. So I'm going to go over each subcategory of this and explain how we can use it to make our drawing more accurate. So I'm just going to select these lines and delete them by pressing delete. Now I'm going to first enable object snaps, and because none of them have been enabled, I get this box. So I'm going to select the first object snap, that is Endpoint, and I'm going to say OK. And if you notice in this drop down, Endpoint has been tick marked, so that is enabled. So I'm going to draw a line, enter, and now I'm going to draw another line, and now I want to draw it as continuation of this line. So if I go and hover over this point, I get the green box in my cursor, which means that it has snapped automatically to that point. So I'm going to click there, I'm going to click on another point, press escape. So this is how we can use the endpoint in object snap. Now let's look at the next one, which is midpoint. I have enabled that as well. So what this does, it allows you to snap to the midpoint of any line or geometry. So I can select this point and I can draw another line. Next, let's go and look at center. It's the next option in this list. I'll enable it. For that, I'll have to draw a circle. So I'm going to go over here to the draw panel and select a circle. I'm going to draw from the center point and drag it out. And now I'm going to draw a line from the center of the circle. So I'm going to press L, enter. Now if I just hover over the segment of the circle, if you see the center of the circle is lit up with a green circle, which means that it is snapping to the center of it. So if I just click here, it will automatically snap to the center. And now I can draw a line using the center of the circle as a reference. Escape. Now I think we can also use this when it comes to an arc. So let's draw an arc. Let's use a 3-point arc. Yeah. So now if I press L and I try to draw a line, if you notice, if I hover over the arc, I can snap to the center of this arc. So I'm going to go over here and draw the line. Escape. It would be more easier if we disable the end point and the midpoint and try the same exercise again. So I'm going to select that line, delete. I'm going to press L, enter, and I'm going to hover over that, and what you see is that only lets you snap from the center of that arc. So I'm just going to click there and it has automatically snapped over and I can just draw my line. So let's just enable this, and now the geometric center. Now the center subgeometry in object snaps works for circles and arcs. Now the geometric center can work for other shapes. So I'm going to draw a rectangle right now, and I'm going to draw a line from here. If I just hover over the rectangle, it will automatically snap my line to the geometric center of that rectangle. Just like that. Escape. Now this would also work if it is just a simple closed polyline or geometry. So let's draw a polyline, PL, enter, and let's draw it such that it's a closed geometry. I'll just enable Endpoint. That allows me to close the geometry. And now if I just hover over the polyline, I can trace the geometric center of this polyline, and now I can just click there. Here. Next, I can show you how we can snap to nodes. It's not very common to use it, but I'll just show it to you anyway. So press a line here. And let's divide this line into 3 parts. So I'm going to press DIV, that's divide, enter. I'm going to select an object and I'm going to split it into, say, 4 parts. So I'm going to press 4 and enter. Now if you see, it has divided the line into 4 parts and it has put like 3 points that divide the line into 4 parts. And each of these points is a node. So now I can draw a line using these nodes by snapping onto them. Just like that. Next, we are going to look at quadrant. So when I draw a circle, the circle by default will be divided into 4 parts and each part is a quadrant. So by enabling quadrant, I can snap to these points. Next, we are going to look at intersection. I'm going to enable intersection and I'm going to draw a line and I'm going to draw another line across it, and say I want to draw a line from the intersection of these 2 lines. So I'm going to press L, enter once again and hover over that point, and it's going to let me snap to that point. So let's see now what we're going to do next. We'll come over here. And we have gone over intersection, so now we will do extension. So I have drawn this line and now I want to snap at a point where these 2 lines can possibly meet. So that's when I use an extension. So I'm going to press L, enter. I'm going to hover over this point, and if you see, snapping allows me to use that as a reference, and it draws this imaginary line from that point, and it allows me to find the intersection of this line and that line if that line had been extended. So I can snap at this point and I can draw another line. Let's try it again. Let's use these 2 lines as an example. So I'm going to hover over this point and extend, and then I'm going to hover over this point and extend, and if you see, it allows me to trace imaginary lines that are not drawn to find a extension of these two lines, and then I can snap at this point. So that's how we can use an extension snapping. Insertion, okay, let's see what that can do. Let's enable it, and let's just disable all the other points. Now insertion mostly works with blocks and text, so I'm going to add some text over here. So I'll just draw the text box. And my text is a little too small, so let me change that. I'm going to select the text, go over here and put 100. Okay. I'm going to, now that in snapping my insertion is activated, I should be able to snap at one of the insertion points of the text box. Like that. So that's how we can use an insertion point. Just note that it works mostly for text or block. Next is perpendicular. So let's disable insertion. So now I have this line and I want to draw a line perpendicular to it. So I'm going to click at any point, and now the perpendicular snap allows me to snap at the perpendicular point on the line that I have chosen. Let's try it again. L, enter. Like that. Now let's try tangent. Let's disable perpendicular. Now for tangent you need a circle or an arc. So let's just draw a circle first. That's C and enter. Now a tangent is a line that comes in touch with a circle at only one point. So I'm going to draw a line here, and like that. It allows me to snap to a point on a circle which comes in contact with it only once. So if you see, I can snap at these 2 points. I'll draw it again from here, like that. So let's disable tangent, and next is nearest. I'm going to draw a line from this point, and if you see, nearest allows me to snap at virtually any point on the object that I want to draw it to. Like that. I'm now tracing the segments of the circle, and there is no restriction. As long as it's on the object, it's going to snap to it. So not a specific point, but any point on the object. Apparent intersection is honestly not very useful, very circumstantial. So let's skip over and go to parallel. So I want to draw a line that's parallel to this. So I'm going to start my line from here. And if you see, I just had to hover over the line that I wanted parallel to once, and AutoCAD will trace a line that is parallel to it for me, and I can use that guide to extend and draw the second point of my line, like that. I'll try the same with this line. So L, enter. I'm going to start my line from here, indicate to AutoCAD that this is my reference line, and I get this green dashed line. I can use that as a reference, and I can draw my parallel line. And as you can see, we have tried all subgeometries in Object Snap, and this is how it can be so useful to draw our drawings and make it precise, to the point. I hope you understood the importance of object snaps in your drawing. If you have any questions, please comment below. If you like my video, please press like, or you can even subscribe. Thank you.